Every year I head down to Nuevo León, Mexico for one of my favorite overland adventures, the Ruta Épica. It's hands down the best off-road trip I do all year. Exploring Mexico by camping and off-roading is a whole different experience compared to the US. The culture, the vibe, it's not necessarily better, but it's definitely unique. This year I got my dad with me along with my good friends Jonathan in his 4Runner and Jake in his 90s Chevy Suburban. We're driving from McAllen, Texas to Allende, Nuevo León, the official starting point of the Ruta Épica. We'll be linking up with the Aguerridos Jeep Club, an awesome local 4x4 group that knows all the best trails in the area. If you follow my channel, you know that this is my third time doing the Ruta Épica, so if you haven't already, check out my other videos. Each year brings new routes and new challenges. Alright guys, well we made it over here to Allende. We are at Oxxo, the gas station, and this is where we're meeting. All the guys are still kind of showing up. So we're gonna start here in Allende and we're gonna start going up the Sierra Madre mountains in the back. We're gonna be spending the whole weekend out there. It's gonna be a blast. All right, we're getting ready to go. The guys over here have house music blasting. It's like 9 in the morning. This is Jake's favorite kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, just jamming out right now.
Got Jonathan over here, 4Runner. Got some Jeeps. And we have Luis over here. I just met him. I've actually known him on Instagram. 95 Toyota pickup. And he's out here with his buddy. He's gonna join us. Look at this beautiful truck, man. We'll see how it does on the trail. It's gonna be sick. But anyways, we're gonna get ready to go. Hey, gracias, bro. Day one, we passed through La Piedra Parada and El Butano. The trail winds up the mountains on narrow, rutted dirt paths with elevation steadily climbing. Welcome to the Sierra Madre Oriental, one of Mexico's wildest and most underrated mountain ranges. Stretching nearly 1,000 kilometers across northeastern Mexico, the Sierra Madre is home to a crazy variety of ecosystems, from desert scrub to pine oak forests, and even cloud forests high in the peaks. Some of the tallest mountains here, like Cerro El Potosí, rise over 12,000 feet, offering epic views and freezing temperatures at night. Wildlife includes black bears, cougars, wild turkeys, and rare species like the military macaw and the endangered Martinez spruce. How's the two-wheel drive going?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
¿Cómo andamos?
Bien,
Bien.
Todos bien.
Perfecto. Along the way, we stumbled upon a beautiful little waterfall with crystal clear water. Cold AF. As we climbed toward El Butano, the trail got steeper and tighter, with sharp switchbacks and dense forests. While Piedra Parada is fairly well known, El Butano is still a hidden gem. Even many locals haven't heard of it. Getting there means crossing stretches of private land, often gated and closed to the public. This section of the trail was one of the toughest of the entire trip. Rugged, rocky, and rarely traveled. We even had to clear multiple fallen trees to push forward. now we gotta wait. We got a little lost from the group. We're hearing on the radio chatter to go right. So, but we gotta play it safe. The good thing is that the guys usually have a sweeper at the end that kind of keeps the whole group together. But I got a little distracted talking and I didn't hear on the radio. So we're doing good. Beautiful truck. Beautiful truck. Just kidding. Great truck. This is a 2-wheel drive 4Runner. So no 4x4 on this one. So that means if you got enough clearance, you could do these trails at this point. Shouldn't be doing it, but Jonathan's with us, so in case he gets stuck, we can pull him out. One thing I always find fascinating, ranchers and farmers live way up in these mountains with very few modern conveniences. Sure, some have solar power, but they live far from modern civilization. And the trails that we're driving on are literally the roads to town.
Yeah.
Ahí vienen más. Sí.
Como 6, 7.
Como 6 o 7, pero ahí vienen atrás de nosotros.
Honestly, I envy their lifestyle. I would love to spend a few weeks in a cabin up here, though I'm sure I'd miss my city amenities pretty quickly.
El de la Sierra de Santiago, Laurel. Esto es para condimentar comidas, hacerte tecitos. Tecitos te ayuda para el tema estomacal.
Sí.
Cólicos para, por ejemplo, las señoras, todo este tipo de cosas. Esto se da en esta parte de la sierra de aquí de Nuevo León. Laurel. Hojas de laurel.
No, that's just burning rubber. I can get it through. Yeah. As we climbed higher, the switchbacks really put Jonathan's 2-wheel drive 4Runner to the test.
Just film regular, film all everything around.
In previous Ruta Épica trips, the trails weren't too technical, and Jonathan had watched my older videos where 2-wheel drive seemed fine. I told him it should be doable, and thankfully, with careful driving and a little bit of help, he made it out with just enough gas. Our Frontier handled the rocky, narrow trails with ease. We had comfy seats and AC definitely didn't hurt. Sure, we lost a few cool points to Luis and Jose in their classic Toyota pickup, but hey, comfort counts.
One thing about Jonathan, he won't let up. He has some, I have some. I freaking... Sí.
At one point, the guys behind us asked why Jonathan wasn't engaging four-wheel drive. Jose casually replied, well, he's only got two-wheel drive. The looks on their faces were priceless. Like, why is he even here?
You can pull him, but where are you going up there? Does he have a radio?
Luckily, Luis backed down with his recovery gear and helped pull Jonathan through a tough switchback. Man, Jonathan has everyone working.
When the brakes all fall off the mountain.
I know.
Se acaba la subida.
Okay. Pues ese querían Ruta Épica. Pues. Ahí va. ¡Ella! Dale, 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 dale. Ayúdale.
Dale vuelta a la izquierda, dale vuelta a la izquierda. Más. Ahí mero te vas con él.
Vamos a poner la cámara. Oh no, I'm gonna have to fly back up over here.
We made it up here to the top of the mountain. It was fun watching Jonathan struggle.
You said I'd be fine.
Bro, I never said that. I said, you better have 4x4, and you said,
You're like,
4x4.
yeah, you'll be fine. You're gonna be careful.
I did want some content, honestly, guys. I'll be really honest with you. And I got it. So we up on this mountain, and there's a spot here called El Mirador, like a lookout kind of area. Supposed to be nice. Careful. Yeah. Ooh. So.
Butano.
Butano.
Or Butano.
Butano.
Awesome views.
¿Eh?
Awesome views.
Awesome views.
Mira, David,
A ver cómo está.
aquí aprendemos a volar.
Si no sabías volar, aprende.
We finally reached El Butano, an absolutely beautiful, secluded spot that can only be accessed with gate access. Huge shout out to Luis for the awesome drone shots. They really elevated this video, no pun intended. El Butano is home to the endangered Martinez spruce, one of the rarest trees in the world. This area hosts the largest known population, around 350 mature trees thriving at elevations between 2,100 and 2,200 meters.
Va a ser foto de uno por uno, güey. Así espérense.
Venga, David. Abrazo. Compartir las vibras, la energía bonita.
Alright, so coming down this crazy switchback, and obviously it's tough on two-wheel drive, so trying to get some traction on Jonathan's 4Runner so he can back up a little bit and he can go and go down. This is the only obstacle there is for tonight. Dale, John.
Despacio, despacito, que no maten. Despacito.
Ahí va.
Ahí amárrala.
Sí. So we came down the mountain and halfway we got back to camp. So when we were on the trail, we were going all the way up. And then we came down now to camp. Beautiful. I'm really tired. Been driving all day. After a long day on the trail, we found a perfect campsite deep in the pine forest. The cool evening air was filled with the scent of pine as the sun set through the trees. There's nothing like the stillness of nature after a long day of driving. Pure peace.
If you guys want sausages, you can let me know.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
I also have chiles rellenos.
This guy.
They just gotta be warmed up.
Something simple today. It's some fajita from La Ganadera. That's not a commercial, by the way, but it's from La Ganadera. Great meat, by the way.
And we're in
Fajita, McAllen, Texas. And my traditional guacamole. Haven't started it yet. I'll show you later. But I'll be making some guacamole in this wooden bowl. And some quesadillas with flour tortillas. And that should be a wrap for tonight.
Johnny, me boy. How was dinner?
Good.
I'll be honest with you. I think your camping setup is my favorite
Why?
because it's just so simple.
So lazy.
But it's so good, dude, because it took you 5 minutes and you're already...
You gonna take the inside.
Yeah.
My bed. I think it's pretty comfortable.
Dang, dude. Man, look at that. It's the way to go, guys. I mean, forget the rooftop tents and all that. If you got space in your vehicle, this is the way to go. Keeps you safe from all the weather. And there, yes, pretty chill.
I always say that the rooftop tent ain't worth it because we don't camp that much. But if you think about all the years we've known each other and how much we've camped,
Yeah.
I probably should have invested by now.
They're so
But it's
cheap
just like
now.
what, once, twice a year?
Yeah, you can just put it in storage, but I always default to this setup. Like, this is like where you start and you'll end up going back to this. In the red truck, I'm building a camper setup, and this is literally it. I'm just gonna sleep in the camper, and that's that.
It's simple. I like it.
Yeah, it's simple, dude, because you get here and it's ready to go. Yeah.
Keep the bugs out.
That's awesome.
Brought a big watermelon. That's what you brought to the camping trip, a big watermelon.
That's for the week. That's it.
There's some meat.
Very nice.
Hey, did you say you had something to put the stuff in?
As the night fell, we relaxed to the sounds of the forest. Moments like these make the whole trip worth it. Last night was pretty brutal. The winds were really loud. It was like every minute these high winds would just go right through the trees, and man, it was loud. It would shake the truck. But thankfully, at some point it stopped. So I got some okay sleep. Nothing like an energy drink for breakfast. Day 2. After breaking camp, we set off a long trek to La Cebolla, hands down the most beautiful camp spot I've ever experienced. Over the years, so many friends have told me that they want to join me in one of these Mexico trips after watching my videos, but then they say it's too dangerous or my wife won't let me. All I can say is I've never had any sketchy experiences on these trips. The locals are always welcoming and the guys in our group always help each other out. Like that one time my Tundra overheated on the first Ruta Épica. Of course, there's always risk in an adventure like this, but with the right prep, precautions, and a solid group, it's worth it. Driving the mountain pass was a blast, especially dodging opposite traffic while navigating with our 4x4 caravan. Just picture this, a tiny Nissan Versa packed with the whole family, trying to reach their weekend cabins. That's what we had to encounter on this mountain pass. On this pass, Luis's drone captured Cascada Chipitin, a stunning 90-meter waterfall. Surrounded by lush forests, it drops into a vibrant turquoise pool. Absolutely breathtaking. So we're winding down, we're getting into, I think, Laguna de Sanchez, which is that way. We're waiting here on the side because one of the guys in the Jeep group was overheating, so they're gonna cool off. We got a little ahead, found a good spot here to just wait, maybe eat a snack or something. Jonathan's airing up. You're airing up. You're airing down?
Yeah, you know how they aired me down yesterday?
Yeah.
I aired out that one tire.
Oh, so now you want to be all...
I was like, I want to be all even in case you do run into like more spots.
Airing up, I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. You want to say something?
Hi guys.
Fuel management was critical. We never saw a real gas station in 3 days. Locals sold gasoline from water jugs or Coke bottles, but I wasn't about to run that through my truck. Always carry extra fuel on trips like this.
So the first year, if you go watch my first Ruta Épica video, I had the Tundra in that video, and then the thumbnail was, the truck was right there. So that's the same spot. This is probably the best view out of all the trips that we've done out here in Mexico. This is an epic spot. It's sheer drops. I mean, it's scary when you're driving up here, but doing the second time, not that bad. And not having to drive a full-size truck like the Tundra. And driving the little Frontier, having a little truck, it's good for this kind of stuff because it's not that scary.
Mirador Rondable offered another epic viewpoint, perched at 2,214 meters. The narrow dirt road getting there was an adventure in itself, but the panoramic views made it worth it.
Well, I guess this is camp. I didn't know this was camp, but we are right outside. We are in a village, honestly. I'll walk down here. It's pretty cool. There's people living out here in the mountains, away from everything. Look at that. They're out there. But I guess let's pick a spot to camp before everyone settles, because I have to be leveled because of the rooftop tent, so.
Finally, we reached La Cebolla, which means the onion. And as Shrek once said, onions have layers. This trail had plenty of layers: dust, elevation, and a little struggle. La Cebolla is a tiny village in Rayones, sitting at 2,605 meters. With only about 28 residents, it's isolated and rugged, surrounded by towering peaks like Sierra La Cebolla at 9,646 feet or 2,940 meters. It's easily the best camp spot I've ever stayed at. Stunning sunset views of the Sierra Madre, an unforgettable experience.
snacking. This is probably the best camp spot we've had on any of the Ruta Épicas. This is just beautiful. We get this huge view of the mountains, and we happen to be in a little tiny village. This is really cool. I don't think you can get this kind of experience in the United States. This is just really special, and it's really nice.
New York steak. So we're gonna actually cook some New York steak in a pan. We're gonna fry it, chop it up,
Okay.
mix it with. You want me to tell the rest?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so New York steak. We're gonna fry it, chop it up. Then we're gonna mix it with some wild hog chorizo. Good stuff. Wild hog chorizo. We're gonna mix that up, spice it up. Then we're gonna mix some eggs and cheese and put them on some fresh flour tortillas. It's gonna be great. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Sketchy. The wild hog. Wild hog shot by a friend of mine, packaged by a friend of mine, and gifted to me by a friend of mine. Good stuff. We're gonna mix this in with a New York steak, chop it up, mix it with some egg and some cheese, and put it on some fresh flour tortillas.
John, why are you in the background, dude? You're just salivating, bro. You're just salivating.
Yeah, it's nice tonight. You're gonna have some wild hog. Llegaron sanos y salvos.
Así es.
Llegaron porque los aguerridos no se
rajan.
rajan.
Así es.
Entonces a puchones se los trajeron hasta
Trochos
aquí.
y mochos, ahí venimos. Pues ahí dejamos una troca en las adjuntas, ya a resguardo. Y otra camioneta ya se fue para abajo, para Monterrey, ahí en Cola Caballo. Y otro carro ya se regresó para Saltillo. Y ya vienen ahorita otros 2 carros igual, con broncas de suspensión, fierros y etcétera. Pues es que es muy tedioso. Y ahorita ya llegamos. La mulita pues obviamente se calentó, se apagó un abanico, se desconectó, ya lo volvimos a conectar y todo. Mañana va a ser muy buena la bajada.
Sí, nos dijeron que va a ser pura bajada, gracias. Y luego a los rayones, vamos para los rayones.
Rumbo a Casillas.
Casillas.
Y luego a Santa Rosa para subir a Ciénega de Toro.
Okay.
A ir a ver el espectáculo de los perritos de las praderas.
Como diríamos en inglés, David,
Sí, ¿eh?
como diríamos en inglés, prairie dogs.
Freddy.
No,
Nah.
prairie,
Ferry.
con P.
P. Ferry.
De Pedro. Prairie,
Ferry. Dog.
con P de Pedro. Prairie
Ferry con Pedro.
dogs.
Así mero.
Okay, you got it. So as you can see, the steaks right over there are ready. I'm letting those rest. That way they don't lose their flavor. I'm letting them rest a little bit, cool off, then I'll cut them up. Meantime, over here, meanwhile, I'm cooking the wild hog, chorizo. Then I'll mix it up. This is gonna take them. It's gonna be good stuff.
Man, you got a fancy setup here.
Nothing but the best homemade equipment here.
Nice. Got some steaks going.
Gonna have some steaks, gonna throw some tortillas on, and make some little tacos, real simple, probably finishing off with some classic
Yeah.
pudding cup. Really pulling out all the stops, you know.
All stop, dude. Man.
Let's see. Try this out.
All right. Oy.
How's that?
Perfect.
Put them like this. You grab them with your hand. And look at this. This is the wild hog and New York steak. Look at that. Piping hot. Still really hot. Look at that. These are for
For yours truly, Overland Nomad. Here we go.
Don't call me that. Call me that.
My son.
There you go. I
Overland
don't want to hear that.
We wrapped up the night with a great dinner cooked by my dad, huddled around the fire as temps dropped into the 30s. Great vibes with great friends.
A gordita, freshly made by one of the ladies in the village. She said she woke up at 5 in the morning to put these together for us.
Is there really a restroom down there? Where? It seems like these guys are going over there to that. Yeah.
Yeah, come in. We have bunk beds, heaters, showers,
Tamales.
somebody's house, right?
Yeah.
Imagine we can't take this view every day.
Right. Look, la lavadora.
Yeah.
Had you ever done something like this out here, Jonathan?
When I was younger, I used to camp out in Rayones with my dad, which I think in one of your other videos y'all went to.
Yeah.
I'm out of breath.
Dude, same.
But yeah, we used to camp by the river growing up, and it was nice, but like this is a lot. I guess now that I'm older and I
appreciate it more.
I appreciate and enjoy it more.
Yeah, dude. I don't want to ruin the view of this for you guys, but we did need to use the restroom. Thankfully, they had an outhouse over there. Just a hole in the ground. But now we're finding out that these guys are going to the restroom over there. I don't know.
5 stars.
Huh?
5 stars.
5 stars?
Luxury.
Well, you know what? I thought that one was luxury because, I mean, you had privacy in a hole. It was not bad. Man, these views. You could just sit here all day and just look at this.
Yeah, it'd be cool to come back here again and like stay maybe 2 days. Like get here, camp out the next day, enjoy it, walk to that little community they have.
Yeah.
And then camp out again and probably leave. But
well, now we know where it's at.
Yeah.
The last day of the trip for my dad, myself, and the other Americans. On this day, we headed through small villages and valleys and revisiting a beautiful waterfall we've seen on a past trip. Plans had to change when we were warned about some sketchy activity near our intended camp spot for that night. Fortunately, one of our friends had a great Airbnb in Mesa de las Tablas, complete with hot showers and electricity. No one complained about that. As we dropped from 9,000 feet to 5,500 feet, temperatures swung dramatically.
break, we're all waiting for you to jump in. It's the whole show.
Yeah. Be waiting a while.
All the way from up there again.
Again, yeah, be waiting even longer this time because I'm not going.
No, con comida. Asaditos, nopalitos,
I don't know, dude.
Una gordita.
The asado de puerco. Best, bro.
Running on fumes, no gas stations in sight. My Rotopax was empty. Thankfully, Luis had extra fuel and we scraped by.
So we're in the middle of nowhere, guys. We haven't seen gas for days. You saw me filling up with the Rotopax, but I'm at a little under quarter of a tank. I don't know when the next gas station is, so Luis gave us some gas. He has a bunch of it. Me and Jonathan are sharing it, so see how it goes.
Llegamos al portón y ya nos habíamos perdido, apenas llevábamos 5 minutos. Los nidos de la cabaña. Vale, voy, llega terremoto. Firma.
The last leg was a shortcut trail to the town near our camp.
Where are we at, dude?
So we're at one of the guys' cabins. I believe it's called Mirador de Sierra. Belongs to one of the fellas in the club. We've just done a pretty good climb. That's actually one of my favorite trails. I've done it before on the downhill, but I think they call it Sorillo.
horrible.
And honestly, I think it's one of the highlights of the trip, coming up and down both that way. I like that part a lot, and also really enjoyed the portion we did on the first day to get up to Butano. Oh, yeah, Butano, and I think those are really cool. Not necessarily technical, but they're enough that get you going and good time. So I think here in a little bit, everyone's gonna throw all their meat together that's getting ready to go bad in the ice chest and cook it all up. I'm hoping for a fire tonight, actually, because it's going to be cold, I think. And we'll see. Not quite the mountaintop view that I was expecting for this evening, but as far as audibles go, I've done a whole lot worse. So
yeah, I guess we're gonna be camping here, which we're really grateful that the owner let us stay here, because he's got people renting his cabins up there, but he was nice enough to let us stay here. He's got Airbnbs. He's got like 2 massive houses and these cabins. What were we at? What's the place called? The town here?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
What was it called? Something in Mesas?
Mesa de las Tablas.
Mesa de las Tablas.
Mesa de las Tablas. We're close to San Antonio de las Alcanzas, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, but
That sounds right.
yeah.
Guess we're gonna be camping right here, and the people tent camping will be right up there.
So I had seen online that there's like a way to turn the passenger driver's seat into a bed.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to try it. But you take off the headrest and you move the seat forward, and you put the seat all the way down, and they just turn it into a bed. From the looks of it, yeah.
It actually does pretty good. Wow.
I'll sleep like that and like see how it works.
It's pretty cold out here. This is one of the areas supposedly here in the Sierras that gets really, really cold all the time. It's supposedly pretty common for it to snow just randomly. We, on the previous Ruta Épica, we were somewhere up there in the mountains near Coahuilon, and it started almost snowing and then it stopped. So I can believe that it could snow here, but I don't think it's gonna snow. But anyways, it's really cold. Gonna get ready to go to sleep. This is our last night on the Ruta Épica. These guys are gonna actually keep going for a few more days. I know Luis and Jose, his passenger, they're gonna keep going with them, so that's pretty cool. But we gotta get back. No, can't go around it. I was debating on going up there. They're a little rowdy right now. Just wanted to say good night, I guess. Aquí le estoy tomando video, así que tengan cuidado.
¡Hola! Excelente noche, saludos a todos.
Saludos a Falfurrias, perro.
¿Quieren decir algo a las personas de YouTube? ¿Qué les quieren decir?
Muchas gracias, saludos a todos y muy agradecidos. Estamos aquí en esta hermosa noche disfrutando uno de los más días de la épica Aguerrido 2025. Cuídense mucho, disfruten lo que tienen porque el tiempo pasa y no perdona.
Saludos.
No, hombre, no puedo poner música en el YouTube. No, hombre, me la van a quitar.
Vámonos ya, pues ya.
They always get rowdy. And especially when we get to a spot like this. Oiga, buenas noches.
Good night.
Good night. Ahí lo vemos. Also, another thing is, if they hear you speaking in English and they know that we're from Texas, even though we speak Spanish, they will talk to you in English like that. It's time to go to sleep. I'm gonna get into the rooftop tent, get warmed up, and we'll see you guys in the morning.
From Mesa de las Tablas to McAllen, Texas was only a 5.5 hour drive. We stopped in Monterrey to drop off Jake's family member, then grabbed some must-have food at Restaurante Los Ahijados on the highway. For us, the trip ended here, but for Luis and the rest of the crew, their adventure continued up El Coahuilon, a spectacular mountain we've camped on in past Ruta Épica.
Hey everyone, my name is Luis, or 95 Yoda Pickup. For this portion of the video, I'll be taking over the story as our friend David headed back home. We stuck around the wilderness for a little longer to complete the mission. Again, the point of this trip, as Vikingo says, is to have at least one person, even if it has to be on foot, to ring that bell at the very end. But first, we had a checkpoint to what was easily my favorite part of the trip. El Coahuilon, located in the state of Coahuila, reaching nearly 12,000 feet in elevation, rivaling Cerro Potosí, the highest peak in the neighboring state of Nuevo León. I've been driving through most of these mountains the last 10 or 15 years, but I have never been to this area nor this high up. I learned that this is protected land closed off with a gate due to its remoteness and risky conditions that surround it. It sits nestled between Mesa de las Tablas to the southwest and Potrero de Abrego to the northeast. There really is something magical about seeing a lot of these places you've been to and finally seeing it from this bird's eye view. From its summit, you can see many of the places we passed or were going to pass during the trip, including La Cebolla, Mirador Ondable, Salto El Gaona, or what we call it in Santiago, La Cascada de Nuncio, San Antonio de las Alazanas, and Bosques de Monterreal. One thing is flying the drone, but another is seeing it with your own eyes and spotting different areas you recognize from afar. We felt extremely fortunate to be up here in probably the clearest conditions and couldn't have asked for better weather. We spent some time out here just taking in the view, but with a little bit of pressure as we had a long way to our next destination. As we headed down, I pulled out the drone and got my co-pilot cousin, Jose, to take over the wheel temporarily to get some drone shots of the truck, since I didn't know the next time I would actually be out here again. There was hardly any trees up here, so I was able to try a few riskier shots with less worry of collision. But as always, I switched out the SD card anyways, just in case. I sometimes don't know if I'm about to do a follow cam or a more cinematic shot to focus on the area around. Sometimes I end up trying to do a little bit of both, which is near impossible on the passenger seat on a bumpy road. But it's all in the process. The more you fly it, the better you get at it. Sometimes you want to focus on the vehicle's details as it's moving. Sometimes you want to highlight the terrain, so you level the drone a little low to the truck, and you get to see the different types of rocks to show how much of the mountain had to get carved to create these paths. And you really start to think about how much work and planning it took to make these mountain views possible. Sometimes you want to show how large and untouched these maguey agave plants are up here in this elevation. Sometimes you want to show how tiny the vehicle is compared to these large mountains and valleys, or how tiny the rivers are from up top. Whether you're a big nature guy, off-road enthusiast, or videographer, or all three, trips like these are perfect, where you get to really take in that scenery and experiences. Then you get to take a little bit back with you. From here we got back to Mesa de las Tablas at 8,500 feet in elevation. And a few more vehicles split up and went home, while a few of us were still ready and eager to continue the journey to ring that bell. So we go southwest once again and cross over another set of mountains and pass through the Bosques de Monterreal, a popular mountain getaway for people from Saltillo, Coahuila, complete with a small ski resort. At this point, we were back on pavement and we got to do highway speeds in a straight line for a little bit before some windy sections again. We rode through San Antonio de las Alazanas, stopped at the first gas station of the entire trip to fuel up, and continued on. From here, we were moving closer to the city of Saltillo and Monterrey and continued towards El Cañón del Álamo through Los Lirios, Coahuila. But not without a little side quest. Passing through San Jose de las Boquillas, one of the vehicles in our group, a mid-2000s Cherokee, lost its rear differential oil who knows how long ago and how, but very likely during the few hours that we got back on highway speeds. This caused the axle to overheat and shear off into two pieces when he stopped. We considered ourselves lucky because right before this and right after this, the roads get really windy and really dangerous on the edges of cliffs, so the breakdown really couldn't have happened at a better place. We had to get creative and move it off the road by using a log we cut off, and ratchet strapped it to the frame and axle, Putting it on 4x4 was enough to get it off the road. Then I offered to pull it a little further into a home once it couldn't get any more traction. A kind local woman allowed us to leave it on our property so the owner could return the next day to repair it on site. This did eat about an hour or two, and a lot of us started feeling the pressure. We still had a long way to go to our next stop for the night. With daylight fading fast, we pushed ahead, determined to reach the canyon before nightfall. As we continued on, the sun dipped behind the mountain range, giving us an incredible view of the landscape from the opposite side of our destination. At this point, we were only 2 mountain ranges away from the National Highway 85, which seems like it's really close, but in reality, we were still very remote. We continued our journey and got to enjoy a nice sunset reflecting off the mountain we were about to cross over eventually. We descended through Cañón de San Isidro once again, a familiar path from earlier in the trip when we had headed towards Laguna de Sanchez from Ciénaga de González. From here, a few more vehicles split off and went down through Highway 20, which eventually connects to National Highway 85. But 4 of us continued our journey. By the time we reached this area, darkness had almost fully set in. Back off-road again towards the Cañón del Álamo, we continued northwest as we turned on our lights. I was very excited because I was able to capture some stunning night drone shots of these mountains. As the sun starts to disappear, there was only a few minutes where you get to capture the purple accents fading into a dark blue sky right before complete darkness. The trucks moving along the canyon road looked like shooting stars from above. As I was flying the drone, I was just amazed at how the rocks were still able to reflect just a little bit of light. And just a minute later, we depended solely on our light setups while I'm just using my 5x7 headlights. Once we got to the canyon, going through it and onto the other side was still a journey of its own. But we ended the night by setting up camp at a nearby ranch where it's typically the last stop. We built a fire, shared a well-earned dinner, and called it a night. And the next morning, we prepared some breakfast, hung out in the valley for a little while, and then we got to do what we had said we were.
Ok, gracias a todos. Estamos aquí el 5º día, martes 18 de marzo de la Ruta Épica 2025, culminando con el objetivo de estar aquí en el Cañón del Álamo. Bueno, pues como pueden ver, de 32 vehículos sobrevivimos 4 y seguimos contando hasta hoy. Aquí quedamos los últimos locos de esta épica en 5º día. Y como lo habíamos dicho, lo prometimos, tocamos campana.
We rang the bell we had made right there on site. A perfect way to kick off the final leg of our Ruta Épica 2025.
Gracias.
Nos vemos en la 2026.
Hasta luego.
Huge thanks to the Aguerridos for their hospitality and letting us tag along. Also, a big thanks to Luis for helping me with the drone shots and even on this video. And as always, thank you for supporting the channel. We had an incredible time, and I hope you enjoyed coming along for the ride. Until next time, we'll see you on the next one.